put out a
overthrow of a
newsletter.
government.
You put out a newsletter attacking Donald Trump and calling him complicit.
Never
I can
attacked
read
Donald Trump.
Yes, you have. And by the way,
I campaigned for Donald Trump.
Okay, yes.
And this is after anti-Semitism, this is the last refuge. You're an anti-Semite and you hate Trump.
Okay,
I love Trump.
I will read. You put out a whole newsletter saying Trump has abandoned America first. And here's what Trump said in response. Well, considering that I'm the one that developed America first and considering that the term wasn't used until I came along, I think I'm the one who decides that. For those people who say they want peace, you can't have peace if Iran has a nuclear weapon. So for all of those wonderful people who don't want to do anything about Iran having a nuclear weapon, that's not peace. That was directed at you.
Man, you got me. Busted.
No, I'm just saying.
Look, my views. Look, I like Trump. I campaigned for Trump. I know Trump. I talked to him last night. I'm not against Trump, and you know that.
But you're against his foreign policy.
I think that we should be very careful about entering into more foreign wars that don't help us when our country is dying.
When you say
our
don't
country
help
is
us,
dying.
Look, yes, focus on our country. I'm all for it. But the naivete.
You don't even know how much money this costs. You don't know anything about the country whose government you want to overthrow, and you're calling me reckless.
I want to stop a lunatic who wants to murder us from getting nuclear weapons that could kill millions of Americans.
Fair.
You say, I can't see how that benefits America in any way. That is bizarre. And by the way, isolationism, your foreign policy is the foreign policy of Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama.
Oh, absolutely.
And it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm a big leftist. This is so silly. Now I'm Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama. Okay. Let me just say one last thing.
So how is your foreign policy different from Jimmy Carter's? Seriously.
Please.
But I asked that question seriously.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Jimmy Carter?
So
what century is this? I am the product of the last 25 years, watching carefully, being involved in the periphery, and I see an unending string of foreign policy disasters that have impoverished and hurt our country.
Unending string.
Unending string. They would include Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, and our inability to stop the Houthis, by the way, in Yemen, which exposes us as weak, and I grieve over that. So these are failures. You helped preside over some of them as a member of the Senate.
What failures, foreign policy failures, have I presided over?
Well, we were unable to beat Russia in the war that you supported against Russia. You've been spending the last 3 years telling us that Vladimir Putin is evil and we're going to beat him with other people's children, and 1 million of those kids are now dead. You've never apologized for that. That was a full failure.
By the way, look, the level of number of falsehoods you lay out just in one statement are rather.
You haven't supported the war against Russia?
Are rather stunning. So the war against Russia was caused, which I have explained at great detail, by Joe Biden's weakness.
But you supported the war.
If you want to talk, we can talk Russia and Ukraine. I'm happy to talk about it.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
To God be all the glory. Welcome to the new party. This is Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Mia.
I'm Enzo.
I'm Kamal.
So I say that because weird things are already happening in the stream. So we're going to leave it at that. But tonight is going to probably be like a really controversial show. So the views of each individual is just the views of that individual. Is not necessarily the views of the new party. But it's probably the most consequential, in my opinion, important show we'll do all year. Right now, we are at a standstill, at a crossroads in America. Are we going to be going to war with Iran, and what that means? In the clip that you saw, it was a pretty controversial interview with Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz. As we see, MAGA is also in a civil war. Is it MAGA or MAGA? What does that mean? So I guess 2 people, 3 people on this live tonight voted for Trump, so we'll talk about our opinions. Gray, what's your thoughts on the clip that we played?
I guess it's refreshing to see Tucker Carlson be like normal and have like a regular conversation. He also came out and said that he lied when he was on Fox News. I don't know if he's a disgruntled employee because Fox News is really pushing for this war. Mark Levin, I guess they feel like Rupert Murdoch and his son LaShawn Murdoch also want this war. So I don't know if he's a disgruntled employee or if he really believes this, but it seems like Tucker Carlson and some other people on the right, like Candace Owens or, like you said, Civil War, turning against the Trump administration because of what's going on in Iran.
Kamal, I mean, people have been lying for years in this country, media. I'm sure you know that you're part of the media. What's your thoughts? Is it a lie? Is it truth? I just want to know what you think.
Well, first of all, you know what I mean? Happy Juneteenth. Got to put that out there. You feel me? Second of all, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. You know, these gonna be one of those things where I just mind my business. You know what I mean? It's a lot of infighting between the MAGAs, and you know what? Sometimes you got to just know when to shut your damn mouth and just watch from the side. I mean, Tucker Carlson fighting with Ted Cruz. God damn, that's like, you know, the Spider-Man meme. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about all of MAGA attacking Tucker Carlson, Kamal? Would you have had this on your bingo card for 2025?
I would have never had this on my bingo card. I'm like, what is going on, man? God damn. You know, I got to let y'all talk about this. Y'all the experts in the MAGA correlation. Yeah, I don't know. Y'all might have some inside information on what's going on, why they infighting like this. But
I have inside information, and we're going to talk about it tonight. But yeah, I mean, nah, you ain't getting out. Come on, you gonna comment tonight? You tried to do that last week. We're gonna hold you to the fire. Last week, I understand you didn't want to touch the fire. It was a lot going on. There ain't no fires tonight. You gonna have to represent tonight for the Californians and the FBAs. Now we're not doing that. But anyways, Enzo, what's your thoughts regarding the infighting in MAGA and Tucker Carlson and the Ted Cruz clip?
So when it comes down to Tucker Carlson, I appreciate Tucker Carlson more now because I've seen him from when the time that he was on CNN to Fox, and now he's independent and he's just calling this shit out. He's not being paid by whatever side to spew whatever narrative they wanted to spew, and I'm happy he did this. That interview showed me one thing and one thing only, and it's what I've known about what's been going on in the government for the longest time. The whole the civil war that's going on within MAGA, I think it's stupid at the end of the day. Like everyone, like, because I'm seeing more like this isn't what I voted for. This isn't what I voted for. This is everything that Trump's been saying since the campaign trail. He said, "I'm going to be the best president for Israel." How many times on the campaign trail? And you guys are now surprised that he wants to go to war on behalf of Israel. I don't agree with it at all. That's my biggest gripe with the Trump administration. But everyone's saying this isn't what I voted for. This is what I voted for. He's told you time in, time out what you guys are going to do, or what he's going to do, and he's doing it to pretty much to a T at this point. So I don't know. I'm just besides myself with that. I think it's just undecided voters that are the ones that are saying that, not the actual, let's say, MAGA based or Republican based that are saying that.
Well, Mia, what's your thoughts? Is this what you voted for?
I mean, I voted America First, not so much MAGA. I mean, there's been a lot of things that I haven't agreed with. I don't consider myself a MAGA. I consider myself a hardline conservative, including fiscally, and the financials of entering even airstrikes against Iran and potentially an actual all-out war is just ridiculous. We don't have the money. And the simple fact is we have millions of veterans that are still sleeping outside. We have the highest rate of starvation among children now in 2025 in the United States. So I don't understand why we're going to try to displace 90 million people in a foreign country. There's zero evidence that Iran has there's zero evidence that they have a complete warhead, but there's also zero evidence that they have an intercontinental missile. So people really need to chill out because there is no evidence at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
We're dealing with China or Russia, where we have hard fact evidence that they have the capabilities to launch from one side of the world to the other and hit us. As of right now, we need to operate under the assumption that Iran doesn't. I mean, because at this point in time, I don't think they do have that kind of capability. So it seems premature to start, in theory, to start a war with them at this point in time. And to be honest, we have ruined 4 other countries in that area, and now they're all run by terrorist regimes. So clearly our foreign policy in the Middle East sucks, and it's not America first.
Skeptic, I know you're just joining. Thank you for coming. What's your thoughts on people being shocked, I guess you could say, regarding Trump's potential involvement with Iran?
I mean, I feel like Trump is failing at his promise that he said he was going to be a peacetime president. So to me, that is another thing that he's failing at. And I also think that we have to look at what the interest is, because, you know, I know we're going to talk about this, but there are Republican senators that are basically letting us know that they have funding from AIPAC. And I think that they want regime change that is not going to be accomplished easily. They're going to have to basically enter this war and, you know, be in conflict for a long period of time in order to change the regime. Also, I don't understand why America is supposed to be putting America first, but now we're fighting some foreign countries' war for them. So I'm definitely against it. I also think that we're going to put a lot of American, you know, military people's lives in danger for no reason when this is not our fight to fight.
Okay, so you're making this a left versus right issue. The reality is majority of these people are funded by AIPAC. Not just the right, not just the left. It's majority on both sides. That's the hard reality that we're going to talk about tonight. I mean, it's not a right thing. It's not a left thing. They're all funded by AIPAC. 90%, I think, are funded by AIPAC in some way, shape, or form. And we could pull up the list if we need to. So that's the first thing. This is a bipartisan issue. It's not a nonpartisan issue, I should say. It's not bipartisan. So to sit there and say that, I don't think is fair, because that's the reality. We can pull up the list. Also, we're going to play this clip. You know, Ted Cruz is a proponent of this. He's supporting us going in. But the reality is he knows nothing about Iran. So let's watch this clip.
By the way,
I don't know the population.
at all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah.
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's,
because,
it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, this is cute.
It's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump?
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here, because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting Israel.
High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Okay.
So tonight we're going to learn about Iran's history. But before that, Gray, what's your thoughts on the fact that he knew nothing about Iran, or very little?
It's not surprising, especially because Trump ran on like a populist agenda. And I feel like Trump's biggest weakness is foreign policy. So, I mean, I'm not expecting like a lot of senators that's just talking about what's going on in the U.S. to know a lot about foreign policy. If you look at JFK when they went into Vietnam, I don't know if it was the Secretary of Defense or if it was Secretary of State. He had the CEO of Ford tell him like what to do in Vietnam. So this is what happens when people say, "Oh, I want a business person rather than a person that understands geopolitics.
I agree. I definitely understand what you're saying. You know, you have to be well-rounded. I don't think geopolitics is some of their strong suits, but if you're asking to go invade these people, you should know about them, because the reality is once we invade them, there are going to be effects of it. And Mia talked about it. Mia, what's your thoughts in regards to him knowing nothing?
I think it just goes to prove that money talks and the rest walks. So when AIPAC pays over 361 congressional members on both sides, $53 million worth of support. So like I said, they are legitimately paying Democrats and Republicans to have this hardline view of anything that's good for Israel, you know, good for the goose is good for the gander. So anything that's good for Israel is essentially good for us. And Ted Cruz has absolutely just proved that. He knows nothing about Iran, clearly has no idea how they're going to topple this regime and then replace it, because you can't topple a regime and not us physically be there, because we've seen what happened in Afghanistan when, you know, what is it, the Biden administration pulled out and now terrorists run it. So it's just a long-term thing. You can't just topple a regime and be like, oh, good luck to ya. So it just goes to show how deep Israel's pockets are, because now we have people supporting the potential murder of 92 million ethnically diverse individuals, and they have no idea who they are.
Yeah, I mean, and also in Syria, terrorists run that, and they killed thousands and thousands of Christians, I should say. One of the first Christians in the world were in Syria, and they killed them. They killed a group of them. Skeptic, what's your thoughts about him not knowing anything about history?
I'm honestly not surprised. Like when I look at a lot of these senators that are conservative, they tend to be very ignorant, and they just care about, you know, how they're being, you know, the people that are paying into their campaigns. They'll run, like I want to say that Carolyn Levitt also had ran and just kept the money. And in reality, they don't care about the politics and pushing it forward. I do think that this is a left and right issue, because I think that the left has openly spoken against Israel and the support for Israel, especially in Gaza. So I think that I don't hear enough right-leaning influencers or people that, you know, run in those circles speaking out against it. So I'm glad that, you know, Tucker Carlson is kind of paving the way for this. I think that I should hear more of this, because in reality, a conservative president is in office, and he has caused us to basically enter this conflict with Israel and Iran.
Okay, so right people have been speaking out, and they've been getting their asses wrung out online. Raise your hand if you've heard it, because we've been
I'm one
speaking
of
out.
them.
Us on this panel, we've been getting our asses handed to us. We have been speaking out. I've been speaking out since January, and I've been told I don't know what I'm saying. So that you having that rhetoric, Skeptic, is, I'm gonna be real with you, is not good, because we've been getting dragged.
I heard people screaming about immigration. I haven't heard any conservative influencers on TikTok even talk about this. Honestly, this topic is mostly talked about on the left-leaning part, which I hear a lot of people speaking against Israel. So I definitely would see the majority, like I said, on this panel, people can say that, but I'm saying a representation over the majority is not there.
Maybe
Here's
not
the
on
issue
TikTok,
with
but you
it,
need to get off
right?
TikTok. You need to go on X, because on X they've been speaking out, and they've been losing thousands upon thousands upon thousands of followers. Most
When
people are not on the right. Sorry, Enzo. Last thing is
you're
not
good, you're
on
good.
TikTok.
Sorry.
They're on X because of how TikTok treats them. But go ahead, Enzo.
No, it was a delay. That's why I said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, with TikTok, anybody on the conservative side is at risk, literally just for getting banned. Like I get banned pretty much every single week
Right.
for bullshit. Like not even things.
We
Like
can't
half the
speak
things
out.
that I bring up, literally, I put my shit on the screen and show the facts behind it, and I'll still get misinfo bans, and I'll appeal it, and it won't go through. Like we're at risk already for speaking our minds and showing the real facts out there. When I'm sorry to say, Skeptic, people on the left lie more than we do and don't provide facts for anything you guys say on TikTok, and nothing happens to you guys. I deal with it all the time. I see it all the time with the bigger creators, Harry, Chris, Dean, Parker, RJ, Tyler, who is a ex-MAGA. He does the same thing. I'm sorry, like you guys just come up there and lie, and nothing happens to you guys. We come up there, present the facts, we get taken down. We talk about Israel, we get taken down. You guys can say whatever you want, nothing happens. It's hypocritical on the side of TikTok. That's why we don't speak there. You go to TikTok, you go to my Discord, we talk about that shit all the time in there.
All the time. We have all my girlfriends that are MAGA conservatives. That's all we talk about. How fearful we are about what's happening and how we can't speak out. But I'm sorry, Gray.
I have to respond to that. Like, the vast majority of the right is lying. I mean, it's just like, we know that they're lying. Like, Trump lies. Like, so the misinformation and conspiracy theories most likely comes from the right. I mean, like, TikTok isn't doing this because they have an issue with the right. TikTok is doing this because they have a business, and if they are a part of something like where people are putting out information that's incorrect and someone acts on that, they can be liable for that. So, like, that's just what's happening. Like, if they're saying that you're putting out misinformation, you probably should recheck the misinformation.
That doesn't explain it when I'm bringing up a congressional paperwork at the end of the day and I'm literally showing it on the screen or providing the web address to what I'm quoting. That makes no sense.
All I'm saying is that when the immigration topic came into question and everyone was like, it was 90% of politicians, like political TikTok that was speaking on immigration. But now that we have this conflict in the Middle East, the only people that I see in big numbers are leftists that are talking about this. I feel like the conservatives that were running up and down when it came to immigration are now kind of quiet from my perspective, being that they were so loud whenever we were talking about immigration. Everyone had something to say about it, but now there's something to be said. And I do agree that it should be bipartisan, and I'm not hearing the voice as loud as I'm hearing it on the left. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you need to go get off TikTok because Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, what's that dude? The Hodge twins? The list is endless, Skeptic. The list is endless, and they're getting dragged, and they're being told that they are not real MAGA, that they are not real Trump supporters, and they need to go sit down and shut up. Okay, so people have been speaking out.
I'm saying as a collective, whenever I was talking to conservatives because I run on the TikTok platform, all conservatives were saying the same thing. Now that I'm talking to conservatives, there's a split between those that actually are still on the Trump train and those that are saying we are against this. And the voices of those that are saying they are still with this, to me, is louder than those that were screaming at the top of their lungs when they were anti-immigration. That's what I'm saying.
You want to know why?
Yeah, because we are anti-immigration, and we're not changing that. You could be anti-immigration and anti going into war, where American lives will be lost. You're conflating the two, and that's not fair. I'm serious. It's nothing to do with immigration.
Can I say
like I was gonna say, Skeptic? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Mia.
I was just gonna say, I've never screened. Okay.
She lost signal. She lost signal. She's back. I'm like, oh man, like damn.
But I wanted to read something. So you can go to APEC .org or whatever, and 96% of APEC endorsed candidates won their general election in 2024, strengthening support for Israel in Congress. I repeat, 96% of APEC endorsed candidates, doesn't matter on the right or left, won their general election in 2024. That's crazy. So these people are basically 10 for 10 when they endorse you. So if you take an endorsement from APEC, odds are you're gonna win. 96% of their candidates won. And everybody needs to let this stew on that. That's crazy talk. Crazy work.
I'm going to kick her from the studio. That won't affect the rate because she just wrote. Okay, wait, she's back. Hold on. She's back. My bad. Because she's
sorry. I don't know why
issues.
my connection. Yeah, we're on base and my connection is really terrible on here for some reason. I don't know. My carrier, I guess, doesn't like the base.
Yeah. And I mean, Skeptic, speaking of base, there's conservatives saying don't go serve in this war to people serving in the military right now. Had I known you were going in this direction, I could get those clips, Skeptic. I did not think we were going to have to go here, but I can get you those clips. Just going to take time. But we're going to move on to the history. Oh, I'm sorry. Enzo, did you want to add anything? Or Enzo and Kamal? I know you think you're really... My back,
like I was gonna say with your TikTok, I've seen your TikToks. I'm like, it goes for me too on my lives. You're getting the bottom of the barrel people that are coming up there that probably have 3 teeth in their head that voted for Trump because illegals were taking their jobs. That's why you're not hearing all of this. They believe everything Trump says and they think Trump is God. Those are the people that you're basing this off of. Real conservatives, real Republicans are the ones who are speaking out about this. And every time that we do, we get censored for it, or we get banned, or whatever it is. That's why you're not seeing it on your lives.
Well, I
True.
follow because I go on like other conservative people's lives because I like to argue with people. And I will say I haven't, like, they're still talking about the same old topics. And I feel like, I don't know. But that's just my perspective because I do think this is a bipartisan issue. And I said this on my live the other day. This is not
Nonpartisan.
a one-sided issue. Yeah, this should
Mhm.
be all of us, all Americans
I
not wanting this
agree.
to happen. And I was telling
Mhm.
everyone, this should be the time where we come together and we actually speak against something that's literally wrong for everyone,
Oh,
including those
I
of
mean,
our family members
skeptic,
that are in military.
go read the
Agreed.
chat. Go read the chat. The chat is hardcore Republicans saying they don't want this. So you're going to see tonight, everybody in the chat, I want you to put your opinion. I want you to put if you're a Republican so we can show skeptic. There are people that aren't for this. They're against it. And Kamal, is there anything you want to add before I play the clip about the history of Iran?
I mean, now you kind of just took the words out of my mouth, Nora. Like I've been seeing like Candace Owens, she be getting her ass handed to her since she been on the Israel shit. Her and the Hodge Coon twins, they both been getting their ass handed to them. So I've been seeing it. Skeptic, you could be right though, because like TikTok is like its own world compared to all the rest of the social medias. Like for real, like it's its own world and it has its own like guidelines. Like I even get banned for certain shit for what I be saying, and it don't be nothing. TikTok just has a lot of like guidelines where you could get banned and not know why you got banned. You feel me? So
Yeah, I'm not saying like I'm not talking. Candace Owens has been out of the conservative loop when she got dropped from Daily Wire. Like after Ben Shapiro dropped her, she was basically ousted from like the big time conservative influencers. I'm talking about the average influencer who speaks like for myself. If there was a left issue and we were split, I would stand on my business. Like I would stand on what I believe. And I just feel like a lot of people's voices have shrunk when this is the time when our voices should be the loudest. Like this is something I talk
Well,
about on the daily because I do think we should be together on it.
prime example, Kelly, the girl that came on the show. We just did a live. You can go watch it. It's on Nora Christine live. It's on my Nora Christine page. You can go watch it. We were pretty clear. Like, and she's very MAGA. She had the hat. She's a bigger content creator than even our channel. She has 50,000 on TikTok. So I mean, people have been speaking out, skeptic. I mean, I would love to keep sending you stuff, skeptic. From now on, I'm going to show you that people are speaking out because I want you to see it. I get it. TikTok, you're not seeing it, but I'm going to show you because a lot of people are, and they're getting their asses handed to them. And I don't like him. He's a racist, but Nick Fuentes was the first to say Trump is not who you should vote for because he is going to take us to war with Iran. And here we are 6 months in and we're going to war with Iran. So, I mean, again, he's take it with a grain of salt, but he was the first to really speak out and he got kicked out of MAGA fast and really dropped like a hot potato, even more so for all his racist stuff. But all right, guys, we're gonna play this clip. This is the history of Iran. Hold on, sorry guys.